Sandalfon, though not explicitly referenced in scripture. Some of the earliest sources on Sandalfon refer to him as the prophet Elijah, who had transfigured and risen to angelic status. Other sources, mainly from the Midrashic period, describe him as the twin brother of Metatron, whose human origin as Enoch was very similar to the human origin of Sandalfon. As mentioned in the previous documentary, Sandalfon means bird of the raindrop, and is the original meaning of this name. My translations are always specific to the creature at hand. The new spelling of the name Sandalfon may be related to the word Sandek, God-Father, thereby corresponding to the tradition of a station held by Elijah with regard to evocation of the prophet as being a protector of unborn children. But so is Pazuzu. Food for thought. The name Sandalfon may also be derived from the Greek prefix sim or sin, meaning together, and adelphos, meaning brother, thus approximately meaning co-brother, since the modern Greek word for co-worker, synadelphos, has these roots, as seen in the Book of Revelation, chapter 19, verse 10. This probably relates to Sandalfon's relationship to Metatron, though this derivation shows uncertain influences. Or could it be that this figure was reformed in Greek times? For example, he was not, for he was taken. The word taken, in reference to Metatron, actually means transferred in Hebrew. The physical descriptions of Sandalfon vary depending on source. He is uniformly depicted as extremely tall. He exceeds Hadraniel in height by a 500-year-foot journey. During Moses' visit to the third heaven, he is said to have glimpsed Sandalfon, where he described Sandalfon as the tall angel, though this legend dates to a much later time than that of the Torah. The Babylonian Talmud, Hagigah 13b, says that Sandalfon's head reaches the heavens, which is also said of Israfil, that is Raphael, and the Greek monster Typhon, with whom Sandalfon seems to have similar mythological roots. He is also described as being a member of the Sharim, which means princes, the young fierce kings, and Hazan, master of heavenly song, which would be the battle cry. In the Greater Key of Solomon, Sandalfon is designated the left-hand feminine cherub of the Ark of the Covenant. This would suggest that Metatron represents the other angel on the Ark, meaning quite simply that they are the gatekeepers of rock. The contents of the Ark is algae, which is symbiotic with Hydra. There is also the serpent rod, the caduceus, and the commandments. So depending on perspective, we have Typhon and Hydra connected to the Ark of the Covenant. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. This figure was also given the right to make commandments. That would be a full house. The Fon element relates to sound, which may relate to the horns of Jericho, because the ark appears to be a frequency-based weapon. The meaning of the word Archangel, which is Erzengel in German, which I translated using Hebrew, letter by letter, which, oddly enough, I learned from Israfil, means head weapon of the wave-form serpent-fish god. It is worth noting here that the names Israfil and Anubis were used to indirectly invoke the Egyptian god of wisdom, Tuhut. Found in the writings of Sukkot, he is credited with gathering the prayers of the faithful and making a garland of such prayers, and then adjuring them to ascend as an orb to the supreme King of Kings. That would be the orb spotted over the Temple Mount, the Dome of Rock. In the Zohar, Sandalfon is the chief of the seventh heaven. Similar to Archangel Michael, he carries on a ceaseless battle with Samael, or perhaps Satan, the angel of evil. There you have a prime example that an angel can be a demon. In Islamic tradition, Sandalfon is in charge of the fourth heaven. This may relate to the Apkallu. The fourth Apkallu was born in a house, which I believe is the House of Knowledge, the Sumerian Abzu. The ancient sages also referred to Sandalfon by the name Ophan, meaning wheel, which is a reference to the wheel within a wheel from Ezekiel's vision of the heavenly chariot in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1. It would appear that Sandalfon is many elements of the chariot, which is said to have changed the minds of the people, but also our physical nature, and accordingly, Sandalfon is also said to be instrumental in bringing about differentiation of sex in the embryo. He is also connected to the secret conquest of matter by form. The bird of the raindrop would be the divine storm bird, Rock, and the Fon element would be the battle cry of it. This increases the likelihood that this creature is Hydra. Typhon would be the effects of the chariot hitting the earth. Hydra may have been attached to this chariot. Hydra genus is real and fits the mythological strata perfectly. So this rock, under another name, also stole the crown. which means there was another creator before it fell. Ibn Hazm mentions Sandalfon as an angel who serves the crown. He discusses that although Metatron was regarded as an angel, Metatron would be celebrated as a lesser god for 10 days of each year, which is probably a reference to Rosh Hashanah in connection with Merkaba mysticism, where Metatron took part in the creation of the world. In the Kabbalah, Sandalfon is the angel who represents the Sephira, Malkuth, and overlaps or is confused with the angel Metatron. The word Malkuth, I have seen this in reference to Marduk and Tiamat. Malkuth is the physical universe itself. This would be the split body of Tiamat, the setting of the earth and sky. Sandalfon is said to appear before the feminine presence of the Shekinah and to receive human prayers and send them to God. If there is one thing we have learned from ancient Mesopotamia, it is that a male divinity is dressing up in mother's clothing. It is now delighting in its virgin aspect. The Birdman is the cursed one, and the definition would be lamed. To finish on Sandalfon, the red dragon swallows its tail, and accordingly, Sandalfon overlaps or is confused with the Metatron. You either see it or you don't.